Hello! Is this Plaid Man here? Yeah, right. I'm doing another episode, horribly illustrated, about season 1, episode... What the fuck are we on? Right, episode 6 of this crap show called Wheel of Time. And if you've never read the books, then I'm sorry for you, because I'm gonna shit all over your beautiful TV show that you love so much. I actually don't think a lot of people love this show, and this is me being a Plaid Man. Sorry, it's very warm here, and I don't really want to wear the thing, so I can wear a hat if you like this. Hello, I am from the bleak midwinter, which is Peaky Blinders, which I would love to rewatch again and talk about, but that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about... I feel like I need to squat down. I obviously have a super professional setup, and I have like Dragon Ball Z hair matched with like balding man hair. So go figure. Who the? Sorry, I'm like watching myself in the video, and I'm like, who the? I almost want to send it to my nephew because it's so bad. It's good. And if you clip that, I would love it and send it to me. Thank you. All right. So we're on episode 6 of season 1 of Wheel of Time, the TV show that is pretending to be about the books, but is actually a lie and is not about the books at all. Anyhow. All right. I need to do a better job at the codes. My little subtextual things, so I'll do a better job next go around. But either way, I'm gonna go through it right now because I'm reading it, so I apologize if I'm looking here and then looking here. Anyways, so there's made up history in this. Obviously, the show is just making up stuff that's like lame. Okay, the tower is just like a hollow shell of what it should be. You have to understand that this is the apex of the White Tower's power, arguably speaking. Like they've reached this point, and now they're starting to decline, and we're at that point. I don't know if the show really does a good job of articulating it, but frankly, the tower just feels very lame. There's so much time with Logan, if you will. And it's frustrating because, like, in the books, it's barely there. Like, it's just kind of like, oh, yeah, we captured him, and then he's here. And they're spending all this time, and it's not even good time. It's like, we're going to fucking just spin our wheels. We're going to, like, make this interesting. And I'm like, no, you're not making it interesting. You're actually just making it annoying. You're making it worse. Like, I don't care about this person. Because if you've read the books, you're like, yeah, he comes up kind of later. He's always a side character. So I don't know why we're spending so much time on this. Because he's not really prevalent. And they didn't really go into any effort on how they captured him or this or that. They kind of elicited, but not really. It's like this weird in-between where like, the books didn't really do it, so we're going to do it, and then we have to do more. And it's like, okay, you guys missed the assignment, so, okay. Thank you for ruining it for everybody, but good job. All right. So, Swan Sanche, who is the Amberlin Seat, is supposed to be a fisherman's daughter, okay? She's supposed to have the accent, like... was raised in this world, in a certain sect of the world where she speaks a certain way. Now, granted, she's been the Amberlin Seat for 20 odd years. She's clearly trained herself out of certain things, but there is a very evident note in how the Amberlin Seat talks, especially in her analogies, because she always uses fisherman analogies, like analogies that only a fisherman person would use in her specific sect of the world. And it's actually really adorable in the books. and they just threw it away. Like, they just didn't care. They're like, yeah, she was a farmer's, she was a fisherman's daughter. Okay, and then she became the MLSC, and like, that was it. And then she speaks this way now. And it's just like, I mean, aside from the fact that she's black, which is weird, but not the end of the world. But it's weird. It's just weird. It's just weird. What's weird is, like, I want you to understand, you're given a coloring book, right? And there are instructions in the coloring book on, hey, this is red, and this is yellow, and this is brown, and this is blue, and this is green, and this is white, and this is yellow, whatever, right? And you decide to be like, no, I don't care about the instructions of the coloring book. I don't care that all of the colors are represented in this particular thing. I'm going to do my own rendition of things. I'm going to take all the crayons and just go like this. And what you have, while it is a portrayal of the illustration, it looks like crap. And we're not at that point. It's not that bad. It is weird, though, when you consider how much diversity the world has of Wheel of Time, and how it's actually a fundamental part of the world. So when you break that, when you decide the dragon's gonna have blue scales instead of red scales, and it's like, okay, that's fine, except behind him he's supposed to have brown, and you're like, but I want it to be yellow. Okay. And then the grass I want to be purple. It's like, okay, so you're just changing everything then, so nothing matters. That's kind of where we're at. Is like, it's not horrible, it's just weird and unnecessary entirely. We're moving on. So there's this fun thing where they're like, hey, we're gonna keep Logan alive just to torture him. Like, he's going to have a short life of a couple of years, and every day, every hour of his life is going to be torture. And they're like, yeah, but we're going to keep him alive. And in a weird way, in the books, that was there. Okay? It was a thing. Like, there wasn't a lot of these people. Usually they gentle them and then they die. And it was kind of like brushed off as like it was a thing that happened. So it's there in the books, but I just thought it was interesting that, like, instead of killing a person, they're like, we're going to take away your Superman powers and you'll eventually die out of depression, but we're not going to do anything about that. We're just going to allow you to die or commit suicide or whatever. And I found it very interesting that that is a tremendous lack of, I don't know what to call it, responsibility. It's tremendous lack of responsibility. It's like, look, I understand why you're doing this. You're taking away his power because effectively he's a nuclear bomb rolling around in this fantasy world. However, it's kind of weird that you're like, yeah, but I don't want to take any responsibility for that, for defusing this bomb. So I'm just going to let it eventually, like, bleh. Like, just kill him then. Like, just kill him. Anyways, I thought it was interesting. All right. There's an interesting moment where they just assume that Logain is the false dragon, and there's no explanation as to why he's the false dragon. They're just like, yeah, no, he's the false dragon. Like, clearly, evidently, he just is. And you as an audience member are like, yeah, okay, but these people, what is this? What is a real dragon? Like, is there like an order of things? Is there a list that we should query? The, like, this person is the false? No, there isn't that. Oh, so you just decided that this person is the false dragon because of no reason at all. And now I'm not saying he's the real dragon. I'm just saying it's kind of weird that there's no data and they're just like, yeah, no, he's the false dragon. It's like, that's weird. Like, it's bad writing is what it is. Okay. The Aes Sedai can tell if someone can channel and they're just 10 feet away. And they can even tell how powerful they are. What is this bullshit? And again, you have to touch a person to heal. So bullshit on the space healing. Okay, so what's frustrating to me is in the Aes Sedai world, and this is part of the universe that was built. Aes Sedai can tell if somebody can channel, like can do magic, not far away, like 10 feet away, more, whatever. But they can kind of read, like there's an aura or whatever, and not even only understand that they have power, but kind of a general understanding of how much power. So that's weird because they don't really articulate it at all in the show at all. And I think they've just kind of given up on the concept. I don't know why. Maybe they ran out of their CG budget. They're like, yeah, we had in the first episode her throw bricks magically. So we're done with we're done with the stuff. We can't do any more magical stuff. We're just going to have to ride with it. And I'm just like, it doesn't even require magic. You can just be like, hey, you can do magic. Like, you just have a nice attitude. It's like, you seem wise. You seem knowledgeable. You seem like you have power. It doesn't need to be Star Wars-esque where you, like, inject them and you're like, you have so many midichlorians. Oh my god, you are the one that's going to ruin everything. Like, it doesn't have to be like that. It's not like that in the books. It's so weird that they just skip over it. And it's very, very frustrating. And I don't know what to say. And then the other thing of, like, okay, they heal people without touching them. And I'm like, no, every time in the books, you have to touch them. You have to touch the person, whether it's like this. You have to touch the person because you need to connect with the person to be able to understand what's going on with their body and be able to exert your force and then utilize their body to heal themselves, which is what healing is. And they just keep not doing it. They keep being like, oh, I can be 10 feet away and be like, bam, I fixed all your magical problems. You had STDs and blam, they're gone away. It's annoying. Oh my gosh, there was a Scottish accent. It was amazing. I was super happy about it. Yay. Bravo. There's one Scottish person and the rest are British. Because, of course, they just got to do British all the time. I don't know why, but it is the thing. Okay. So, there's this thing where, like, Siwan and then some people are, like, questioning her in public and yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't have this big ceremony and then question her in public. That's super weird. It's hard to say because it wasn't in the books. They just added this stuff. It's super weird. But all I basically have to say is bad writing and bad leadership. Like, you wouldn't do that. Like, I work for a boss and I question my boss. Like, hey, what about this? But in front of the client, I don't question my boss. Hey, why are we doing this, by the way? I don't understand why it's costing so much. Why did you suggest you do this? Like, I don't do that because that's bad form. Like, that's going to get my boss in trouble. That's just, like, what? No, you wouldn't do that. That's just dumb. So, it's weird that they're doing it in this thing. I don't know why they're doing it. I don't like it. It's weird. There's a weird scene where the Green Sister's always eating. I don't know why that is. It's just annoying. Okay, so there's this thing with Matt and this knife. They ruined it, frankly. The whole knife situation and Matt is just ruined. They did a bad job. But then they're like, oh, we're going to do this thing with like one person and the knife. And it's like, no, it took like a lot of them. And it was like a really serious thing. And they just like kind of pawned it off as if like, oh, it happened and it's done. It's like, okay, no. No, that's not happened. It's not right. You messed it up. Why did you do that? Wow, it's so weird. Like, I think I'm fat or chubby, and then I do the things like that, and I'm like, oh, I'm becoming one of those people with the circular face and the Oompa Loompa hair, right? I love how Egwene killed a guy, and then, like, to be fair, there's shock, but, like, she doesn't, like, fear it. And it's also, like, not what happened. Like, there's so much stuff, pretty much everything in the first season with the White Cloaks either didn't happen or it didn't happen like that, like, at all. And it's so annoying that they've made, like, the White Cloaks the villains in this when they're not the villain. But, like, they're a problem, but they're, like, such a small... They're, like, 1/8 of the pie as far as problems go. And they've made it, like, half of the problem. And it's just upsetting and stupid. Okay, they make it seem like Moraine teleported. No. Okay, so there's this moment where Amelin is gay. And I say this moment because we see the Amelin seat get interested with a female. The Amelin being a female. So we see the Amelin seat being lesbian. Dun, dun, dun! Now, frankly, generally, like in the 21st century, I don't care at all. It doesn't really matter. However, this is a fantasy world, and it's a well-established world. And perhaps there are people who have read more than me, and they're like, yeah, no, clearly she's a lesbian. Like, it's there. It's written in between the lines. You just gotta know. You gotta 4D chess the okay, I've read it several times. I never interpreted her being a lesbian. That's super weird and uncalled for and unnecessary. And it's just like, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? It does nothing to enhance the story. It's just a big check mark on the we have gay people in the show. Look at us. We're so awesome. And it's really unnecessary and it's uncalled for. And I got, if you're LGBTQ and you're like, oh my God, I'm represented. Yay! Good for you. I'm sorry you feel that way because it's really sad that you need to watch this show to feel represented. I feel like you can watch any other TV show and feel even more represented than this one. I don't know why you have to pervert this beautiful book series to do that. This is another thing where they've ruined it, where they're like, there's multiple legends. There's blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, there isn't. There is one legend, one, like, thing dictating this is what happened, this is who blah is. Everything else is bullshit. So what they're doing is bullshit, and it's upsetting that they're like, yeah, but this is how it is. And it's like, no, it's not. Sorry. Again, ambulancy, no fisherman analogies, no fisherman accent. Don't know why. It's so lame. So the Amelin seat is supposed to be like the quintessence of power. She is the elite of the elite. She waits for no one. Okay? Wait for one woman and it's not you. It's... Okay, so there's more stuff I could say about the Amelin seat, but whatever. There's this weird thing where Moraine cuts off her warder, which is like, maybe it's in the books. I don't remember it. That's not just like a thing you do. It's not like, oh, hey, yeah, I hung up and I'll call you back. No, you are permanently connected with that individual forever. Like, they feel everything you feel. So it is super weird for Moraine to just be like, yeah, I'm not connected to Lan. He's just going to do whatever he's going to do right now. Like, no. And this stuff with Nynaeve, I'm just like super weird about. We'll get into it later. I hate this show so much. They change so much and it's unnecessary. Like, the best example would be read the Dune book and then watch the Dune movies, the new Dune movies. And like, there are things about there that are changed and different and are problematic. I'm not gonna lie. There are problems with the modern Dune movie. However, you're like, okay. However, you built this amazing world, and while it's missing a few things about it that are like little things, in general, he built and made so much more and made it so much more vibrant that it way transcends any fault. So I'm sure there are people who are like, yeah, well, but they didn't do this. And I might be one of them, like, especially with Chani. I'm like, I don't like what she's doing. But I can't deny the Harkonnens and this and that and oh my god. Like, I can nitpick things, but it is me nitpicking things. By definition, I am like picking things that I'm like, But in general, the world that is built in this Dune world is freaking amazing. And it's like, yeah, okay. That's not what's happening with this TV show. I wish it was. I wish it was like, oh, you know what? There's these little things, but like, other than that, you're doing great. It's like, no, it's literally 100% flipped. 180 of like, oh no, 1% of what you're doing is right. Like, you got the names, and then pretty much everything else is wrong. And it's just frustratingly wrong, unnecessarily wrong, and I don't know why, because it's annoying. The creators are like, we read the books, we're huge fans. And I'm like, if you are huge fans, you should talk to your wife. You should talk to your loved ones, because I don't know if you actually love them. You said you love them. You said you're a huge fan. I'm not seeing it, bro. You say you're a huge fan of the series, and what I'm getting is actually you just want to make your own thing. Like, you don't care. You just want to make your own thing. I'm like, cool. Make your own thing. Join the Witcher franchise. Like, they're just doing that. They're doing a perfect job of it. They're ruining the series, but they're doing a perfect job. Just do that somewhere else. Don't do it with this series. You've ruined this series already. Sorry. Super passionate. Hate it. Okay. Almost done with episode 6. Oh my god. Okay, so there's this huge moment where Moraine needs to do this thing. There should be some surprise that she's not only banned, but she also has to swear. Both of them are huge things, and they failed to give them proper gravity. And I feel like the path, the rod, would be in a big chest, because it's super important. So there's a lot to unpack there. Her being banned is one thing, okay, but that should have a certain amount of gravitas, and they kind of did it almost. And then her having to swear on the oath rod is a really big deal. It's not like your kid being like, I promised I never took chocolate chip cookies. No, this is a burnt into your bones, into your soul oath. And it's not to be taken lightly, and it's not normal. So them asking for it is like super extra. Anyhow. And they did a bad job of it. And it's not part of the book. So yeah. I feel like everything I'm saying is just, it's not in the books. It's not in, look here. It's not in the books. I don't like it. Anyways. Alright. So there's this annoying thing where they're like, hey, we're going to escape. And then none of them take horses, apparently. Okay. And then none of them heard of the Ways, which has been around and part of the universe for like 2,000 years, which is also super weird. Then there's Loyal, which is a wonderful character that is so vibrant and present throughout the whole series. He is just a wonderful breath of fresh air every scene that he is in. And they are just using him for exposition. They're like, hey, and we're going to put this guy in here, and he's just going to talk about things and stuff to explain what we're about to do. Right. Okay, next scene. And I'm like, that's not what loyal is. Like, he does it in the books, but not like that. You guys are just lazy, and you can't be bothered to explain anything, and I hate you so much. I hate the show. You don't need magic to open the ways, okay? You don't have to have magic to open the ways. You don't need an Aes Sedai. You don't need any man with magic. No magic required. There is a beautiful stone door that is filled with like beautifully articulated leaves that were sung leaves. And then one of them removes and then you put it somewhere else. And then voila, the door opens. Hence the ways. That's it. It does not require magic. OMG. It is so frustrating that they went with that. And it's just like, look, we all know Moiraine is like super important. You don't have to make her more important than she already is. It's just obnoxious. Okay. Oh, and then, of course, Matt stays behind, which, for those of you that already don't know, Matt, the actor who played Matt, decided to quit. I don't know why. I think maybe he read the first book and was like, you guys are fucking cunts. You don't fucking give a shit about what's going on with the rest of this show. You don't care what's going on with this book. I don't know. Maybe that's not it. Maybe his girlfriend was like, hey, I'm pregnant. I need you to come home. And he's like, all right, I hate the show anyways. Okay, I'm going to go. I don't know. But anyways, he left. And so they're like, Matt's going to stay behind and not join us in the ways, which is not what happened in the books at all. And I hate it so much. I love you all. Plaid Man out. Bye.